It's time for the Las Vegas Sportsline, brought to you by CG Technology Sportsbook.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Presented by WagerTalk.com.
Here we go, Thursday edition of the Las Vegas Sportsline. Ralph Michaels in the house from WagerTalk. Will Bernanke on the phone from CG Technology Sportsbooks. I'm Dave Cokin. Quick scoreboard. Ari Platinum's our producer, by the way. Quick scoreboard updates. We have a couple of games. We have a few games in progress. Rays and Twins are top of the 10th. And the Rays are the bases loaded with 2 outs at Minnesota. The Pirates are crushing the Astros. Pirates going wild this week. 10-0. That is in the bottom of the 9th now. Pirates lead the Astros. The Cubs in a wild one at Wrigley, leading the Braves 9-7, top of the 8th. Final scores. The Brewers beat the Marlins 4-2. The Bruins beat the Mariners, I should say, 4-2. The Rangers top the Tigers 3-1. And the amazing Mets lose again 6-3. They were down 1-0 going to the 9th inning. Ralph, they scored 3 runs, 2 on a Todd Frazier homer, and then added 1 more. And then gave up 5 in the bottom of the 9th. Blow the game. Blow the total under for anybody who had it at 9. And or at 8, I guess. No, at 9. 6-3 was the final. Unbelievable, that team.
Mets now 5-21 as a road dog.
They are awful. How I can't imagine that was a happy ending for the house, Will, because I'm guessing that, with the way runs have been scoring in that series, and the fact the Mets have been losing, that Phillies and over made a lot of people happy, and they didn't get the over, but they got a push anyway.
Yeah, Dave, I mean, who says the books don't have bad beats? That was terrible for us, especially the run line. We could have used that. It wouldn't have been so bad if the Mets would have lost by a run. And usually in those instances, obviously, the team batting last, will have a, sac fly, a double in the gap where you can't score multiple runs. But that home run was brutal. And that whole series was brutal for us. 3 of the 4 games we could have used the Mets, and then they burned us. And it's just been one of those runs with the Mets.
Yep. We'll look at behind the counter on tonight's Major League Baseball in a little bit. But we want to focus on some great stuff you guys have up at CG Sportsbooks throughout the Valley. At college football, over and under win props are now up. And this is fun. This isn't just win totals. You've set up win props. For instance, Michigan versus Ohio State as far as the win totals are concerned. That's cool stuff.
Oh, yeah. And, as we speak, we're opening up one by one cross football, cross sport, regular season win matchups between, college teams and NFL teams. So I'll just give you a couple examples. UNLV and the Raiders matching up their win totals. Yeah. So you can bet on who you feel is going to have more wins with a spread there, 1.5, let's just say, with them. And just a couple that will have Oregon and the Seahawks, some rivalries, Penn State and the Steelers, Ohio State and the Browns.
That's good stuff. Creative.
Yeah.
I like that. I really like it when the books get creative and put up stuff like that. And even if you're not a serious bettor and you just want to throw 10 or 20 bucks on it, it's just fun stuff. So let's talk about some of those. Let's begin with Michigan, Ohio State. What's the matchup there?
Yeah, Michigan, Ohio State. Right now, the early action's been on Michigan to have more wins. If it comes down to that game they play, basically you're betting on the game right now in a sense. But right now, early action on Michigan, but looking for great two-way action there.
I mean, a new series, Notre Dame and Penn State, two storied programs going head-to-head this year. As far as your bet is concerned, tell us about the line on that.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. I just took down the action, but right now most of the early money's coming in on Notre Dame.
Well, I'll bet you I know where it's going on the Oklahoma-Texas.
Yeah.
Look, Texas, a lot of people think Texas is just overrated to begin with. And Oklahoma is Oklahoma, so I'm guessing that, and Oklahoma's obviously going to have a higher win total, but I got to think that's not going to stop the floodgates from opening here. I think you're going to have a liability on this one.
Yeah, it's early action has been on Texas, and we
really
kind of anticipated that. Yeah, on Texas, just considering we anticipated that with the way they finished last year, and just to carry that momentum, of course, over this year. And Oklahoma with a new quarterback, and was it the Alabama transfer?
Jalen Hurts.
I'm looking at it from a different standpoint. I am not sold on Texas, and I think Oklahoma.
There's a lot of previews that love Texas, so a lot of the early money.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay. Well,
I guess depends if this is public money or sharp money, right? I mean, that's what we're going to see. Let's move to South Florida. Florida, a lot of teams, some people think they're gonna challenge Georgia. You have a prop for Florida against Miami as far as the win totals are concerned. Where's the money going?
Early action on Florida. I'm not surprised here again with Miami having a terribly disappointing season last year. In Florida, if they can get their offense straightened out, they could be dangerous this year. We took note of that, and sharp bettors are agreeing early on.
I think Miami will get better because of the coach, though.
Yeah.
I think that's an upgrade for them. Alabama, Clemson. These teams still look. Everything's Alabama, Clemson. Why not? They'll probably end up meeting again for the national championship. But they're all also matched up in this over and under win prop competition.
Yeah, I was not really surprised. Early action on Clemson. And this is going to be a great matchup to watch all year long with these these quarterbacks. I mean, going to battle it out for the Heisman, and good to see them again in the national championship.
And let's talk about the Nevada rivalry, UNLV against the team up north. Early money on UNLV?
Well, actually, we didn't put up a season win matchup with these two teams. We just put up the season win.
Okay.
So didn't want to mislead anybody.
I misread that.
But right now we're seeing two-way action on both sides, UNLV and Reno. So we've had mixed opinions on both teams and where their season's going to take.
What are you sitting at with UNLV? 5?
Yeah, 5 with juice on the pretty significant juice on the under.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I was to be honest with you, I was hoping for a 4.5 because then I might have gotten plus money and betting the under. I am not bullish on the Rebels. Week 1 college action is up, and it certainly looks, judging by the movement, USC is going to be a very popular choice against a tough Fresno State squad.
Yeah, they're all over USC thus far as it's up to 13. And this could get to 14 because, 13 isn't exactly a taking number. I can see that getting to 14 and then seeing some buyback once we get closer to the first week.
Anything else in week 1 that's getting heated action early?
Yeah, this has been mostly number players, but this Nebraska's seen some money come in. They're up to 34. I think we opened them up at 30.5 or 31. I don't have it on my my desk here. Texas 19.5 up to 20.5. Seeing some early money on them as well.
Well, let's switch gears and the Women's World Cup. Obviously, much more interest with the U.S. still in it. Tell us what the handle was today for England's 3-0 win over Norway, and what's the early action look like for USA France tomorrow?
Yeah, the handle today was pretty good. I thought it could have been better, but we don't have the U.S. involved, so you kind of just figure that's the case. And the time it starts, and baseball going on at the same time. And it wasn't a very good result for us. We took a lot of money on England, and we could have used the draw or Norway to at least be competitive there. But tomorrow, not surprisingly, bettors are on the USA to advance and also in the game. So, that it looks like we could need France, come tomorrow. And I just wanted to know, we'll have props for tomorrow. Just a couple of samples we'll have is a clean sheet props for both teams. Will the game go to penalty kicks and like a multi-way, 4-5 selection, a method of victory? Will they win in penalties? Will they win in regulation? In multiple ways.
Look, you had to price this knowing where the action was going to be with the USA team very much hyped and, obviously a very good squad. So has this gotten the value bettors to the window taking France?
A couple people have. It hasn't been there yet. I think that's going to happen tomorrow when the public money forces us to move towards, U.S. and then that France just grows and grows, the goal line and the three-way line. So I think you'll start seeing that kind of thing tomorrow, about an hour, 2 hours, 2 hours before the game starts.
Will, has it been even betting for the previous USA matches, or have you taken a hit with USA advancing to where they are?
No, we've taken a hit. It's been pretty lopsided U.S. money. I'd say 3 out of 4 bets come in on them.
Will Bernanke is with us, risk analyst for CG Technology Sportsbooks. You can follow Will on Twitter at the Moneyline Guy. Ralph Michaels is here. I'm Dave Cokin. We had, I think it's fair to say, a fight that was kind of a mismatch, but it was a surprisingly brisk business at the betting windows for the Tyson Fury Schwartz fight a couple weeks ago at the Thomas and Mack. That's good, because I think it bodes well for this next fight that's happening on July the 20th. This is a big fight, and this is a fight that's I think you're going to do huge business on this fight. Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. What's happening with it so far?
Well, so far it's been one-way action. Not surprisingly on Pacquiao, and he could very well go off as the favorite. We have it now, I believe, at 110 each way, and I think he ends up possibly going off as the favorite. And the line on this fight being so, basically a pick 'em will help the handle because you don't have that big dog philosophy looming where you're just getting one-sided underdog money. So this will be great two-way action, and we should have props for this as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good betting fight. In addition to being a heck of a fight that's going to draw a big audience, I'm sure it'll sell out and do really good pay-per-view business. But from a betting standpoint, you just said it. I mean, this is the type of fight where you might need one guy more than the other, but I think this might end up being one of those fights where you can sit back, relax, and know that you're in pretty good shape either way.
Yeah, we'll have a lot. I feel like we'll have a lot of control here on where this number goes, and what we're looking for. Come closer to fight night.
Well, with all your college info you're putting out with the Women's World Cup and with baseball, we know the NFL is sort of a dead time at this point. But any of props or futures you've had posted that are taking some action or have opened your eyes with the amount of bets placed on them?
Yeah, I was going to just kind of change gears with that and just talk maybe about some Super Bowl props we have out already.
Okay.
Early championship game line. We're seeing some NFC money and the under, which was a little surprising there, considering, the Patriots are still around. But NFC and the unders, what people are betting thus far. Yes, no on the successful two-point conversion, seeing some money on the no. And the total sacks in the game, seeing some money on over. We have 3.5. We're seeing some over money come in on that as well.
I have to admit some surprise because we've gotten so accustomed over the years to just whenever you put anything that has to do with the New England Patriots on the board, they just roll up in their cars, throw the money through the counter, and then wait for it to cash. And
the Rams, the Saints have.
It's surprising to me that the NFC. I don't know. Maybe the public's so sick of the Patriots now they just want to bet against them for the heck of it.
I was just going to say that, and I think that's what it is. We saw it in the playoffs last year, and that's going to carry over this year 2 times over.
Do you have the NFC as a dog, or is the game up as a pick 'em?
I think it was 1.5. 1.5. I believe the AFC was 1.5 favorite.
Okay.
I also wonder how much of that is tied into Browns fever. Because let's face it, it doesn't matter where you are, Las Vegas or anyplace else. The Cleveland Browns are the hot team right now in everybody's mind. That doesn't mean they're going to do anything. But at least in the minds of fans, and I think bettors, based on what we've been seeing as far as action goes, everybody loves the Browns. So the Browns being in the AFC, you wonder if they're going to end up being a team that tilts that prop the other way at some point. If the Browns do well out of the gate, I can see the AFC money starting to pour in because the Browns are in the AFC.
Oh, sure, especially if they have their annual preseason glory where they do really well in preseason and go 4-0 or 3-1 and look impressive. We always have to keep that in mind no matter what we do NFL-wise. Keep in mind the Browns factor this particular year and adjust accordingly because it's going to be coming from all angles.
Do you find, it's the silliest thing in the world to look at a preseason record and say a team is going to be good or bad, but do you find that 0-4 preseason teams get faded or 4-0 preseason teams, you see an influx of futures on that team?
Yeah, much more now than ever because of social media and hype. People just believe what they hear, and they hear it over and over again, how great a team is in preseason. They're going to go to the window and believe people they see and hear. So it wasn't used to not be that way.
No, I know.
But it has evolved into that now.
I wonder what will happen this year because I think that this is. I have no way of knowing, but it's an early guess. The Browns might not have a good preseason this year because they're in a different situation than they've been in prior years where they were just trying to establish some kind of a winning culture. I think they've already got that. They've got high expectations this year. So the Browns have been an ATM machine in preseason. Might not be this year, and I wonder if a bad preseason, if they go 1-3 or something like that, does that kind of sour people on them a little bit. I don't think it should, but it might.